Some changes Van Boening had made to his breaking technique in the middle of the tournament. The number of times he's potted 3 and 4 balls off the break and perhaps not always had the look as often as you feel the quality of his breaking has deserved.
Extension code.
If you were with us earlier on, you'll know that Van Boening started the day with 2 matches out of 3 on table 2. And he began losing 5-1 to Skylar Woodward, but then bounced back by overcoming Mieszko Fortunski, hoping for something similar here. As Alcaide goes to the jump option. That has worked out a treat. You knew from Shane Van Boning's body language as he moved away from the table, he suspected this one would be fired in.
Extension code.
They have, of course, already met in this tournament towards the end of the first phase. Van Boening the winner, 5-3 in that one. He knew straight away, didn't he? The moment he hit it, you heard the tut of self-criticism.
And on that blind cutback, when you're covering a lot of the table, as Van Boening knocks in that 2, but loses the cue ball. On Alcaide's shot, the amount of times you see that blind cutback caught too thick. Don't know what happened there, though, with SVB. That was a malfunction. The jump shot almost papering over the cracks. And then the double kiss was in his favour. The double kiss left Alcaide quite some way away. Good pot, that. As was that, to swing the cue ball round off a couple of cushions. He should take the opener from here.
Again, not entirely happy, as you can see, but even though he hasn't brought the cue ball back as far as he intended to, this should be 1-0.
Masters
Played
in
by
Gibraltar,
1 rack to nil.
early May. Well, there's a big question here. Yes, we know he's got hindered queuing because of the 3. Can he overcome that? Will he feel inclined to try and overcome it and pot the 2? The good thing is the 3's in the open. Well done.
Blown a bit hot and cold throughout the tournament. Indeed, even today. That's one of the best shots we've seen from him today.
With the shining example of Joshua Filler, everyone has ebbed and flowed. I suppose it's just a matter of flowing when it matters most.
Yeah, and I think that really underlines even further just how well Filler has done. The fact that he's been so consistent, hasn't really hit a slump at any stage. Pretty much everyone else, as you indicate there, Phil, has at some point. But the sheer volume of matches they're playing, so difficult to maintain the standard without having a lull at some point. No sign of it coming yet for Filler, really. And Alcaide started off like a train. Won 6 of his first 7 matches, then lost his next 3. Today has been a blank return so far. The last match he played in against Alex Kazakis a little earlier today, about 2 hours ago, was one of the very best matches we've seen all week. Very good quality, and through a few little storylines and unexpected misses thrown in along the way. And so much at stake in that one because of the position the two of them are in the table.
Well played positional shot, that. And that should stamp his passport to 2-0. You have to wonder, is it going to be a double defeat to start Saturday evening for Shane Van Boening? David Alcaide, 2 up. The thing is with Van Boening, you don't get the impression he's playing badly at all. But it's all about the results. It's a results-orientated system, this. And if you start losing, you can get on a downward spiral. At least he gets to break off in rack 3.
Yeah, he's on 12 wins out of 18, which is absolutely fine. I think he's very much on course for the final stage. But I do think overall the way he's played might perhaps merit being in a slightly better position. You look at the table at the moment, Phil, you look at the superstars, Filler, Shaw, Ocean, Van Boening, and then Sanchez Ruiz because of how successful he's been today. At the moment, you would fancy those 5 are all going to be in. It's looking very tough for Fortunsky and Al Shaheen. So really the big story at the moment is Kazakis, Woodward and Alcaide, who right now look to be 3 players battling for 1 place.
Shane Van Boening to break, trailing by 2 racks to 0.
This is Van Boening's last match of the day. Can he turn it around in end proceedings for him on a positive note? Just before this rack develops, I can tell you on table 2, It's Alexander Kazakis 1, Omar Al-Shaheen 1. That distinctive little hitch in the Van Boening stroke. The technique on his own. Almost a split-second false start.
Said he hasn't perhaps always got the rewards he deserved on his breaking racks over these 6 days so far, but looks fairly certain to do so now in this instance.
Yes, if you're 2-0 down in a race to 5 and playing badly, that's cause for concern. Van Boening isn't playing badly, and so this match is 100% retrievable. We'll find out if he does retrieve it when we come back after the break. Sorry, the noise up there. Can you please?
Rack 4. Leave it okay to break. Played in by 2 racks to 1.
Let's go straight back into the action. I can tell you, by the way, on table 2, it's also a 2-on scoreline in favour of Kazakis over Al-Shaheen. All kinds of stuff going on there. The 8 ball fell. That was about it.
all just feels like hard work for him at the moment. He's playing all right in patches, but a lot of the time he's throwing his arms up and sighing and just not getting into any rhythm. He's played 3 matches today, lost them all, a couple of them in hill finishes. Heavily beaten by Jason Shaw, 5-1.
Extension code.
Well, that is role reversal in an earlier rack. It was Alcaide who potted the one through jumping. Now it's Van Boening, and look at this table. The balls are saying, come and pot me.
It's been a couple of months now, but it still feels as though we're in the aftermath of the Mosconi Cup, which Europe retained in North London just before Christmas. And both in terms of the overall outcome and their individual records, these two had wildly contrasting weeks. Apart from the opening team match, they were actually only in opposition to each other directly on one occasion, the Thursday night doubles, where Alcaide teamed up with Alban Ocean to beat Van Boening and Tyler Steyer 5-1, typifying a very dominant evening for Europe, which ultimately proved to be the key to their success.
You heard Shane Van Boening groaning there, and this is the reason why. Even though it's a 30-second shot clock, asking Desislav Baboshelova to clean the cue ball, because on the previous shot to the middle, he suffered a distinct skid. All rather curt that was. I think he said, clean the cue ball, didn't say please.
Wasn't hard to pick up the frustration there. One thing you would say, of course, maybe he was just keen to get it done as quickly as possible. Determined not to fall foul of the shot clock, the way his captain Jeremy Jones did on that same night at the Mosconi.
That was a good rack for Van Boening to run. You know, he plays a good game. Here, he talks one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually playing good. You know, one day I lost 3 matches in a row, and I thought that was the end for me. But then I just changed the momentum and just getting that winning mentality. And I'm playing well. I don't know what I did, but just stay positive. And from there, you just had to just try the best you can do. No pressure. It's just I'm just into the winning mentality right now. So I'm here to win. It's a very unique tournament with this format. So you know, you travel all the way for this tournament. You're playing a lot of pool, and that's what I like about it. So to win the tournament, I think it'll mean something to me.
I was thinking about this tournament, you know, and he's quite right to say it's a unique format. What it's a little like is when you're involved in one of those massive fields and you lose early on, and you have to come back from the one-loss side of the draw, and you're playing morning, noon and night.
Well, in his case, it was coming back from the 3-loss side, because that day he referred to was Wednesday. Okay, he lost to Joshua Filler, but so did pretty much everybody else. But he then lost to Aloysius Yap and Mieszko Fortunski, and he won a total of 1 rack in those 2 matches. But it was interesting what he was saying. Doesn't sound like he went away and did anything radical. He just stayed patient, believed in his ability, and waited for it to turn round. And I think that's an important attribute to have in your mental makeup in a format like this. Always time for your form to come back, and if you're as good as Van Boening, you can be pretty sure it will at some point, as indeed it has.
breaking off like this helps as well. Again, decimating the balls.
Yeah, that is the one thing that maybe he altered slightly during the tournament. That has gone about as badly wrong as it possibly could have done.
Start the clock, please.
Wholesale misjudgment, Michael. Missed the pot by a mile. The white shot in.
He's going to have to show some of that patience again. So having fought back from 2-0 down to level at 2-all, having had a good chance to go in front for the first time, Van Boening has to sit and take his medicine.
Extension code.
Anyone watching in the UK, Phil, or indeed anywhere else in the world who's seen a lot of snooker over the years, I was saying to you the other day, David Alcaide, in his mannerisms and his style, his technique, and even to some extent his appearance, reminds me so much of another David, David Gray, who was a ranking tournament snooker winner and UK championship runner-up.
Alexander Kazakis edging 3-2 ahead against Omar Al-Shaheen on the other table. And 3-2 to Alcaide surely will be the scoreline here. No alarms. Van Boening made the glaring error. Alcaide did the rest. Again, it's a strange old match, this. Van Boening is playing, in many respects, the eye-catching pool. But it's Alcaide who's now just 2 racks away from claiming the point.
Yeah, and again, really brought about his own downfall there, Van Boening. Can't really bemoan his luck. He played that one bad shot with the miss and the scratch. Very often, just that one shot, even when you're playing well, can make the difference in terms of the outcome.
Just I can get a quick glimpse over on table 2 as Omar Al-Shaheen breaks off. We've made this point repeatedly. I'll say it again. Al-Shaheen can't afford any defeats from here on in.
Yeah, he could win every remaining match and still find it isn't enough. Like I say, he did think he was out of the tournament last night. He lost all of those 3 matches, one after the other, at the start of the night's session.
The bank turned out to be a treble.
Rack 6, David Alcaide to break, leading by 3 racks to 2.
We will tell you about Al-Shaheen's progress as and when. Now Alcaide breaking off, looking for a 2-rack cushion. That works, Michael. That works.
Yeah, that is so sweet, isn't it? And the one thing you would say, through the ebbs and flows of his form throughout this tournament, yes, he has missed some easy balls, but generally, when he's been in a situation like this with a nice layout, he's been very efficient. Doesn't generally make too many unexpected errors, tends to do the simple things very well. I think you'd definitely put this in the simple category.
Of course, this is the first day of this group. The final day of phase 2 is tomorrow. Van Boening will have more matches, can still easily qualify for the top 6. But make no mistake, when he's playing tomorrow, if he loses this, he'll be under heightened pressure. And then, of course, there's the thoughts of making it into the top 4 and into the semi-final playoffs come Monday.
He'd love to be in there, wouldn't he, with the likes of Ocean and Filler, who you would expect to be in that final 4. So much younger than him. He'd love the chance to prove himself all over again by lifting a title against that next generation. But look at this, just as we were thinking we were heading for the inevitability of Alcaide being on the hill. And I was talking about how he doesn't tend to make unexpected errors. He does that and gives Van Boening the easiest of 9s.
I don't know what the Spanish word is for unforgivable, but that was it. So much margin of error, and yet Alcaide found the middle pocket with the cue ball. The whole match has been transformed. Wow, it is 3-3.
Rack 7, Shane Van Boening to break, 3 racks each.
Welcome back to Stadium MK and the Ballroom, hosting the Predator Q's Premier League pool, where Shane Van Boening has been given one totally unexpected lift. There's an equation in pool that simply doesn't work. Cue ball in pocket equals, well, on the vast majority of occasions, loss of frame, especially when it's the 8 ball you've knocked in and then you've gone in off.
Over on the other table, Alexander Kazakis made hard work of it, but he did take his opportunity to win the 6th rack and go 4-2 up on Omar Al-Shaheen. And he got a nice break in the next rack, but just when it looked as though he might be about to run out the match, he scratched in potting the 4. Giving the man from Kuwait a very good opportunity to close to only 1 behind. And he'll be breaking in the next rack if he can get there.
Extension code.
Van Boening, given the 10-second warning, immediately accepts his extension. that just a hair thin, hence the cue ball running on a little more than he wanted to. Had that ball gone into the middle of the pocket, he would have been fine.
Has now gone 4-3 on the other table. Al Shaheen pulling one back against Kazakis.
Oh, wizardry. Wizardry. It's all very well to do that at any time, but when you're aggrieved about loss of position.
Yeah, shows great temperament, great patience. And exemplifies all his many years of experience.
Again, though, pleading for the cue ball to stop. And I don't think it listened. You see there, the brown 7 will not go past the black 8. So one ball into the side, followed by another. The inventive length of table bank was the glue that held that rack together for Shane van Boening. He's come from nowhere. He's hit the front at 4-3. One more rack needed to end his day in a pleasing manner. Over on table 2, also one rack needed by Alexander Kazakis against Omar Al Shaheen. But cracks are appearing in the Greeks' game.
Look how quickly Al Shaheen is playing. He's racing around the table. He's barely struck one shot. He's already on the move to the next one.
Not a new phenomenon, though. He was like this yesterday.
Yeah, it was very noticeable. He seemed to make the decision. He was going to speed up to a remarkable rate of knots. At times, he really looks to be in a hurry.
Extension, please.
Rack 8. David Alcaide
I can
break,
tell you that
break,
5 ball
break,
has
4
rolled
racks,
right over the middle pocket. So we could be going all the way on table 2. David Alcaide wants this match to go all the way. Confirmation 4-4 it is on table 2. Here, Van Boening locked up.
It's only the second match Al Shaheen has played in phase 2. He's only got one more tonight, so he's going to have 6 matches tomorrow. And the one thing you would say about that is they'll be coming thick and fast. So if he can get off to a good start, he could really build momentum, which is what he's absolutely going to need to do to have any chance at all. But it would all be irrelevant if he doesn't make a good finish to tonight. Really got to win that deciding rack, and then you would think have to beat Jason Shaw a little later as well.
Alcaide's decision to tie things up has paid rich dividends.
Extension code.
Just clearing up the thought process, taking his extension. Michael, a shootout beckons here.
Yeah, but with what we've seen from him already in this match, the huge error he made earlier, and he looked to have a simple run out. Let's not assume anything just yet. There was just a split second of anxiety there for him, wasn't there? He's already had 2 hill finishes today, lost them both. In fact, of the 5 he's had throughout the week, he's only won 1. That was in that extraordinary match against Alcaide, where all 9 racks ended in a break and run. But I think we can give him this one now.
Generous. Yeah, there it is. Alcaide and Shane Van Boening are 4-4. It all comes down to a single rack. And although we've got a full day of this group to come tomorrow, this next rack on table 1 could have a massive bearing on things, as indeed the rack currently taking place on table 2 might have. This could be the end, you know, for Omar Al-Shaheen if he loses this. And everything points to Kazakis completing a 5-4 victory.
You talk about the significance of the rack just about to come on the main table. And whatever the outcome of it, David Alcaide's next match against Skylar Woodward, and that could be hugely significant. They're both in that group of 3 who at the moment, with the disclaimer that the whole situation could change, look to be playing for 1 place between them, barring very unexpected developments either side of them in the table. Well, he's had a couple of epics today. He won the first of them against Alcaide. And now he's won this one as well. Kazakis just keeps chipping away, piling up the wins here and there. He's very
Final
much
rack.
in the mix for a potential place in the final day. Hard to see a way back now, though, for Omar Al-Shaheen.
As those last few balls were going down, Shane Van Boening was chomping at the bit, waiting for his break-off in this vitally important 9th rack. Balls are potted, but there's no position on the 3. Like to see that one again. Two for the price of one. What a doubler. Ideally, of course, had that 3-ball rattled in the jaws and stayed over the pocket, that would have made life easier for Van Boening. The 4 is no bargain. Especially at that pace.
Well, if David Alcaide is to make it through to the final day, these next few minutes are going to be huge. Might have been expecting that he'd played his last shot in this match. He simply cannot afford to pass up an opportunity like this.
Van Boening against both Albin Ouschen and in this match has played some really expansive pool. Impressive. But certain shots have gone astray. Certain key shots.
When we heard the interview with him earlier, he referred back to the patience he had to show after losing 3 matches in one day on Wednesday. Similar qualities will need to be brought to the fore again, because it looks as though he's going to suffer his 3rd defeat of today. One difference on this occasion, he did manage to punctuate that sequence with a win over Mieszko Fortunski. Not over yet, Phil.
Yeah, just a grain of doubt, because Alcaide didn't screw the cue ball back quite far enough. That's always a sign, a telltale sign of maybe gripping the cue a little tightly when you're nervous.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's just struggled to look comfortable and relaxed throughout the day. Oh, he called his extension, only to be informed he'd already used it.
That was so close to a time foul. It wasn't, but it was very close.
You used it? Yeah, you used it. Yeah.
Just questioning whether he has used his extension. Desislava Boshilova is adamant he has. It's all a moot point now. David Alcaide knocks in the 9-ball. It is a very unproductive end to the day for Shane Van Boening. New life is breathed into the challenge to make the top 6 for David Alcaide. He's beaten